Hey, Taja, thank you very much for coming on to Real Talks with Ash. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
No, no problem, girl. You look like you're in good spirits today. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, colors help keeping it really colorful. And I'm like one of those things, like if my writer was being built out for like a job, I'm a person of candles and I'm a person of flowers.
Yeah,
I like having plant life around me, whether fake or real.
exactly.
I love great candles. I actually just got this new candle set from Minks and Lashes, which is a black owned company. And they do
Ooh,
lashes and they also do candles. And so it's like, that's the perfect duo. Um,
yeah,
so I'm rocking their smells and scents around here. So it's adding a nice, cute little vibe.
that's good. Aromatherapy at its finest, just keeping the vibes right around you. That's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so I want you to describe yourself in 3 words.
Ah!
Describe Taja Riley in 3 words for me. 3 words.
Boom, bam, kapow.
Kapow, period.
That's where I'm going.
That's actually a very legitimate description. Super legitimate.
Yeah.
It says a lot. Yeah.
Interpretive, yet it's straight to the point.
Exactly. So how's your mental health today? Like how are you doing overall? How's your mental health?
Mental
Honest-
health is good.
Mhm.
Voices are integrated. So
Amen.
I love that because then
Mhm.
I get all sides of me and I feel like I have my whole brain.
Mhm. That's good. It's actually really good. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give that?
11.
11? Yes. Love to
Whenever
hear
I'm
that.
in control like that, it's 11.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that because it is really a state of mind. You know what I mean? Your mindset really changes everything. So if you look at life sunny, it's gonna be sunny. So I'm very curious about you. I'm a curious cat, like I stated before, and I want Are you a fan of Marvel? Are you a Marvel fan? Yes. Okay.
Have you
And
seen Have you seen The Boys?
no,
Girl,
girl, what am I missing out on?
girl, girl. Okay, so I don't want to be a spoiler in case there's people that haven't seen The
Yeah.
Boys, but you should watch it if you like superhero themed scripted shows or series. You should definitely watch it. It stands apart from any other series that I've seen regarding superheroes because it kind of brings out if there was such a thing, like in the real world, if there really were superheroes, there would be a
Yeah.
corporate side and a capitalizing side. And so that kind of they bring that out and they bring it out the darkness of, if
Hmm.
you were to be a superhero and have all that power and also be like kind of part of a corporate brand, like
Yeah.
and you were actually an asshole, like it kind
Yeah.
of just like it's one of those. It's one of those, and it's like the storyline is just so good. It had me in the first 10 minutes of watching the first episode.
Oh, that sounds mad interesting because I've actually always thought about what if, Superman and the Avengers and everything were actually a thing, like in real life, there definitely needs to be like a
Right.
union, like you said, like a union for them, like a corporation standing behind them. Absolutely. Okay, that sounds mad interesting. I'm definitely
It's
gonna
good.
tune in. So now I know you're a Marvel fan. That's good. That's another thing we have in common. So you know how they do like origin stories and stuff, origin story movies for the characters. What's your origin story, sis? What is your origin story? What is your
Well,
origin story?
my parents conceived me during the making of the Dangerous album, while my
Mm.
dad was making the Dangerous album with Michael Jackson. So I like to think of myself as the inspiration, the spawn of Dangerous. Was born in New York, raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Grew up around, you know, uh, Pentecostal Christian upbringing, New York
Mhm,
households,
mhm,
entertainment family.
mhm,
My uncles, my dad, my cousins, all the music, all in entertainment,
mhm.
some form, whether they're sound engineers or They do backline work, musical direction. They produce. They
Mhm.
are management or accounting for entertainers. And then obviously the performers.
Exactly.
I'm a child of. I was born into a family of. It was three of us for a really long time, and
Mhm.
then due to the Papa was a Rolling Stone theme that my dad was on, I had learned about other half brothers and sisters along the way. And then
Okay.
the final, the fourth, the fourth addition to our family with my mom and dad was my little brother, who's Teddy Riley
Mhm.
Jr.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a pretty dream supported family. My parents were very into us going after whatever it was that we wanted to do. I was born with zero rhythm, which is very interesting and contradicting to, what I am now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my dad, the reason why I got into dance was because my dad was like, I cannot have a child with no rhythm. I was like that girl that was like,
One and two.
so my dad was like, you need to put her in something. Within
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, my mom put me in gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, dance. I was playing 6 instruments by the age of 10. Um, I was definitely an overachiever in the
Mhm.
intellect department. I like going to
Mhm.
school. I liked going to school, but I also just liked being right. So I joined things like the United Nations, Operation Smile, was part of the spelling bee, was in the chess club, ran the
Mhm.
student council. And then, keeping up with my extracurricular activities. I was into soccer growing up, and
Nice.
um, horse training. I am an equestrian. I still currently horse train, and I plan on having a
Yes.
horse in the next 6 months.
We
That is
love Black equestrians. I
black
love that.
equestrian. My trainer is actually also a black equestrian
Love
trainer.
that.
So shout out to Brandon Alexander.
Nice.
And yeah, super, super awesome. I started competing with a studio by the name of Denise Walls Dance Energy at the age of 10 years old. Um,
Mhm.
Denise Wall is like my second mom, and Travis Wall, her son. Um, in 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 recent passings, you might have found out about some of the things that Travis has done behind close quarters. I don't want to address them. I want to edify who he was to me growing up.
Mhm.
And he was a huge mentor of mine, and I was more of like his protege in the making. Uh,
Mhm.
and so he kind of took special care in raising me in the dance industry light. And then at about I kind of have an underdog story because competing in conventions, I would always get first runner up, and then finally,
Mhm.
one year I got first runner up, and it actually was the leading decision of my parents moving to Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
They decided to split and split up, but then they also decided to move to the same place. So
Oh
for a lot
wow.
of people, for a lot of people, like dance studios are like your family, and
Yeah.
so like being taken away from my family, which I was so heartbroken by. And so I decided I was going to be a lesbian and a punk rocker chick and dye my hair black and my nails black and go on a hunger strike in my home. And because I had a mentorship relationship with one of the kids at the studio, she
Mhm.
was super distraught by me leaving, cried to her parents, and her parents felt it on their heart to talk to the rest of their family, and they essentially adopted me within 6 months, took me in,
Wow.
paid for my schooling, my homeschooling, homeschooled me, paid for
Nice.
my convention, all of that stuff, like all of my competition fees, being in company, taking at the studio. And yeah, I lived with them for 2 years. I always kind of refer to my families as my black family, which is my origin family, and my
Yeah.
white family, which is like my farm family. And we
You're
lived
far
on a
from me.
farm. Yeah, we lived on a farm. So I was around like 25 chicks. goats. There were parakeets. There were alpacas,
I
pigs.
love that.
It was a whole thing.
I love
Huge
that.
lovers of animals, and I am in such like gratitude for both Mackenzie, which is my little sister from that family, and Lisa Miller, who is my mom from that family. And yeah, they just like were super bright lights in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
at the age of 15, that same year, I made a serious comeback and
Mm-hmm.
actually ended up grabbing the title as like the best dancer like in America pretty much, because this was the #1 convention training facility. And training workshop
Yeah.
convention camp. And so from there I started to assist for other choreographers, those like
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Friedman, Joey Dowling, um, Desmond Richardson,
Mm-hmm.
Gil Dodelau, Lorianne Gibson, Mia Michaels, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my video actually took off in the early days of YouTube, and I was known as what you would call a YouTube sensation. So I was
Mm-hmm.
a shot heard around the world. And that's kind of how I developed a serious name for myself, in addition to the street teaming that Travis would do on every job. He would be like, this is my protege. This is my protege.
Yeah.
And so by the time I moved out at 16, I already had an agent. I already had like, a positioning of, where I was going to be in the industry. And within 1 month of moving out to LA, I had my first job. Working with Carmit Bakar, Allison Porter, and Adam
Nice.
Lambert before Adam Lambert was a household name.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and yeah, and then within that year, I booked my first professional gig, like serious professional gig, dancing for Janet Jackson. And through
Mm-hmm.
and through, like I've expanded my career just through working with other recording artists, as not just a dance artist, a choreographer, a creative director, movement director, a brand consultant, becoming a director and a screenwriter. And then I DJ and I also songwrite. And so I just really, really love entertainment. I love everything that art has to offer. People,
Mm-hmm.
I am a fashion expert, but this is just my individual style that I
That's who you
actually
are.
developed through my ex. One of my ex-boyfriends actually was a huge style guy. Like I thought he was a style icon to me, and he kind of opened my senses and taste palette to be into other things. And
Well,
I've
that's
always had a
good.
quirky style, but yeah, this kind of took my style into another realm. And so people often think I am a wardrobe stylist, and I will accept that title, but I have not really dabbled in that.
Yeah.
But like, my career has been around 15, 16 years long. I am still
Yeah.
trying to be a human. I am a learner at heart, a student at heart, and I love long walks on the beach. And I love cookies. I
Oh
love
my
cookies, especially when they're from Cookie Good.
gosh.
That's,
I
that's
love
my whole,
that.
that's my origin story.
I love that. And I was very much tuned in. Honestly, it seems like you've grown up with a lot of support, which amen to that. Like you have a lot of support in your life. Like you stated before, you said that like you were in a family you're part of a family that supports dreams, which I think is very important. And I think that's really, really clearly it's gotten you places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really appreciate hearing that all the time when I hear that people have genuine support, because I think that's like the #1 thing, other than people always sometimes neglect the support that they have in their life. So that's really cool to hear. And hearing your resume is also obviously like amazing, you know what I mean? I think I'm not talking to someone who's really cool right now, and I'm really flattered. So
You. Thank you.
you're so
Thank you. So
You're
sweet.
so you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I know that you're also an activist amongst many other things,
Yeah.
and I know that you've been super vocal and super bold about what goes on behind the scenes in the dance industry, like specifically. So let's hear about your mission to resurge the dance community.
Yeah. So I've always had this space in my mind for dance artists, and how I view them, and how much love I have for for the dance industry, the dance community. And I just couldn't, it never sit well with me after seeing the shining example of how I actually took on the job working with Janet Jackson, everything kind of not measuring up to that job and me really wondering why. And through the track record of the jobs and the experiences that I've had, there have been pros, but then there have been these cons of psychological abuse and coercion and bullying and decisions made under duress and sexual misconduct or poor business practices, lack of documentation that I feel that really needs to be addressed, especially now because we're at a space where we're being overexploited and overused and underpaid and undervalued, underappreciated. And there's something wrong with that. Me taking a step out of the spotlight of being on screen and going behind the scenes as a director and a producer and a screenwriter, I'm finding in the cross-checking of other platforms, other industries, other subcultures of work, you know, that there are standards, and these standards are not, you know, presented or displayed within the structure or lack of structure of the dance industry or the entertainment circuit as it regards dance artists. And so I'm at a space where I can no longer accept it. I no longer want to work on screen for any production, camp, label, art, recording artists, unless that can be addressed, you know, and not just addressed, but improved. And I think that there's space for people to do work on their end as the production company, the brand, the label, the management team. But then there's also work that needs to be done on our end in basically suiting up mentally, preparing our mindsets to not just be viewed as artists or athletes or actors or designers, but also be viewed as independent contractors and entrepreneurs. And I think the respect we are well deserving, and it's time overdue. And really, honestly, it's actually gotten worse over decades. I have spoken to some legends and icons that back in the day, they were signed to labels, or back in the day, they were given equity opportunities for royalties. They were given positions and titles and documents that are no longer, I don't know, named in the standard for today. And it's weird. And it's weird stuff. It's like, this is weird. This is just straight up weird.
What's one of the weirdest things you've read or seen on a contract? Like, what's one of the weirdest things?
One of the weirdest things? Okay. For Christina Aguilera's camp, when I was asked to do a music video that actually comes out tomorrow, so definitely be on the lookout for
sure.
What they actually decided to do as a production company and what the artist and label decided to do as their team. But in their contract, I had made suggestion earlier on that we need to be credited for social medias and documentation of SEO, so that if YouTube credits, that if you were to type it in and you were to type in my name, that you would find that I was part of this production. I was part of this project. I was part of this video or this show. Film or whatever, this series, even the club. And yeah, I think that was definitely not abnormal to ask. I don't think it was disrespectful to ask. I don't think that it was an issue. And for them to come back and in the writing, and it was written in like a deal memo, and it said they may consider adding the name. May. And after May, it also shared that if they did not, for some reason, the artist or the production company did not disclose the proper credits, that they wouldn't be penalized for it. So it's like, you might as well have just said, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. Exactly.
And
I just
so,
think,
I mean, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want.
no, I'm sorry too. No, I just think it's crazy because I'm a dancer too, and I've been dancing since I was in high school. And I just think, so maybe going on like maybe 9, 10 years now. And like, I think it's crazy to hear from an industry professional that these things are really still happening. Do you know what I mean? Like with someone with a resume and credentials as long as yours, you think that shit would be better. You know what I mean? But it's just really, and I really do appreciate you for speaking out on this issue, because this is something I've spoken about amongst my friends and colleagues as well. Like there's jobs that I don't take. If you're gonna underpay me, that's like disrespectful to me. Like I have a rate and I have a set rate. And if you want to lowball me, like that's I have to take time out of my schedule to practice. I can be rehearsing all day from morning till night. You don't know what I had to move around to make time for your video, you know what I mean, or for your whatever it is. And it's just it's really enlightening, and it gives me a lot of clarity as to like, wow, change really does need to happen, and people need to be treated with more respect. Like artists really need to be treated with more respect. And I'm really I mean, we've just known each other for a little bit amount of time. I'm really proud of you, okay, for like really using your platform, like seriously, because it's something that people like, even here in Canada, like dancers, we really like, we have strikes all the time here. Like dancers in Montreal, in Toronto, Ottawa, like there's a bunch of people here going through the exact same thing. So I think it's great that you're taking it global, because it's really a worldwide problem. Like, yeah,
It's worldwide. And I think that we have set ourselves back a little bit because we didn't know how to unite together. And part of that problem is when you're introducing this in other industries, other work industries, people network by way of conferences, by way of ceremonies, by way of content propaganda, media, literature, publications. And all of our publications are niche publications that have not been mainstreamed. We do not have a platform that announces global news or even regional news about the dance industry or the entertainment circuit where they have considered dance artists part of that entertainment circuit. Usually you see the shows like Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and all the Jimmys. And, you know, they put a highlight on celebrity, you know? And most of those celebrities are actors, models, and music artists. The only time a dance artist has the opportunity, which I want to edify Ariana DeBose for breaking such boundaries for dance artists and being such a trailblazer from the Broadway spectrum in breaking into TV and film. And she is probably one of the first dance artists, like I am a dance artist first, that has been on a show like SNL or Jimmy Fallon. Because of her talent as a dance artist, as well as, you know, a Broadway, you know, singer, recording artist and actress. But the thing is that, again, it brings me to the gateway of, had she not been an actress, she may not have ended up on that show. Misty Copeland, another example, is a niche dance artist, which I'm super inspired by Misty Copeland. But think about it. Her rise to fame wasn't just based on her talent. It was also based on the color of her skin. And the color of her skin, you know, also being subjective to in the same way that Beyonce's color of skin is subjective. And she had to push hard for standing up for her POCs because she was being perceived as though she was taking a corporate whitewashed angle. And Misty is not like that, but at the same time, the gain in her career didn't just come from her talent, although we love her and look up to her and edify her and celebrate her because of her talent. It was about, I'm talented and I'm that black token chick. Yeah, and that's one of those things that never really sat well with me, not based on Misty's part, but based on the fact that, does this really have to be how we get our foot in the door?
Yeah.
And is this really how we get to a place or a level of respect?
Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, it's also like, if somebody was being asked in a, I don't know, in a trivia to say, name the name somebody in the sporting world that has reached success, you know, you can think of like 3 names right away.
Yeah.
Like you think of Michael Phelps, you think of Bruce Jenner, you maybe think of
Vanessa Williams or something.
you may think of, well, Vanessa Williams as pageantry. I would think of her as pageantry first, but I would be like Michael Phelps, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Williams.
Yeah.
Bam. Right?
Yeah.
People ask you who is the most, what do you know any names of any dance artists? Today, the first person that they will say is a TikTok dance artist.
Yep. Charlie D'Amelio.
I don't even know who that is. Actually, I just learned who that is. Okay.
Yeah. She basically plagiarized the what was the dance? Was it the body challenge? The body challenge. I don't remember. The Meg Thee Stallion song that went viral during the pandemic. Body. I don't remember, but it was a Meg Thee Stallion song. Anyway, she plagiarized the fuck out of it. Yeah, she plagiarized the fuck out of it. But but honestly,
that's the point. Like the point is, you know, we are at a place where we have a lack of infrastructure, we have a lack of networking, unification, a lack of strategized communication and strategized thinking, a lack of entrepreneurial mindset. There's not even really books that teach you about like the business. If you get a degree in dance, you get a degree and you're taking physical classes for your physicality. You don't take classes for your mental health. You don't take classes for your emotional health and your emotional wealth. You don't take classes for your spirituality. And these are things that are highly engaging as a dance artist. We use all of these things so essentially to the craft, you know?
Yeah.
Because I can't say that, like, you know, somebody that may be sitting at a desk doesn't use their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. But I'm saying the high level and quality behind it.
That's literally what I was about to say. Like, it's literally like, it takes all of us. Dance is a very holistic practice. Like, people don't get that. It's
a surgeon. If you're becoming like a surgeon in the craft, yes, there's the physical aspect of doing the surgery, but you also have to learn the science behind it. You have to also learn the value behind it. You have to also learn the mental recovery, post-recovery for that patient. You have to learn how to kinetically think and have emotional intelligence. And to be able to communicate with other people. And that's beyond the physicality of actually performing the surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Way beyond. Like, it's internal at that point, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And like you said, it's really a lack of infrastructure, because they don't respect us out here. Like, they actually don't. Like, and it's really, like I said, I'm really happy that you're speaking up on the matter. And I want to know, what was the catalyst for this movement? Like, when were you like, you know what, this shit, I'm not dealing with this anymore? Like, when would you say is the catalyst?
Like, there was a sense of chipping away. Every single job, it was like, it chipped away like my soul. Oh, my pearls are dropped. Tripping up. Like, there was always something like that would go down. And then I think I remember being on I feel like last straw might have been Savage and Fenty, like in 2019. I think that was the point, because I was asked to work as a local. That was an issue. And then learning that it was a union job, like once entering the job, you know, and then seeing like all of the things that, well, hearing all the things that I heard about the job can offer, and the stars that we would be working with, the recording artists that we would be working with, the size of the production value, and then being in a space as dance artists where we are half naked and performing our booties off and dancing at high levels every day. And, you know, I think that at that point, and feeling like job security was threatened on all sides. Not just the dance artists were threatened in job security, also the choreographer was threatened in job security. And like Paris is like my homie, and this was her first time like having full weight to creative direct and put something together. And so it's such a huge job for her and a huge opportunity for her that you know, to be in a space where you feel like you're rendered powerless when your friends don't like something, or want something different and don't know how to speak up, and yet you can only do so much on your end. Also, I could only do so much on my end. I tried to help, but there were so many newbies on the job that when it really came time for them to take a stand, and they were bullied and placed in a space of duress where we had already been through a couple of days of rehearsals. They sat us down, the production team sat us down, and basically was like, who wants to leave? Because now it's gotten around to Rihanna. It's gotten back to Rihanna, and she's very pissed that people are, you know, making claims or asking things or saying things. So why don't you just come out with it and say what you want? And if you're not happy here, if you're not grateful to be a part of this opportunity, then you can leave, kind of thing. And so that in those situations, it's already kind of too late for the dance artists. And most of the time, you know, you get in a space where you can't advocate, and, you know, still trying to do my best and speak up. I do believe that costed me a casting in, you know, being a part of the 2020 Savage and Fenty, not because of, you know, Paris or any of the other dance artists, but because of the production team still kind of being sour about the fact that I stood up and I said these things and I asked about these things in the contract, and engaged and had the language. And
this segues into, sorry to cut you off again. I apologize. Thank you. Like, this segues perfectly into like the next question I wanted to ask you, because like I wanted to ask, like, how does it finally feel to be speaking up on an issue that you hold so close to home? Because I can imagine the amount of, like you said, like, yeah, the production team probably was a little bit salty that like you spoke your mind the year before. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's why. Like, we don't know, but maybe that's why. Do you know what I mean? And that's like a big, and that's like a big reason. Like, that could be a big possibility. But how are you like dealing with like everything? Do you know what I mean? Basically, like, how does it, like I said, how does it finally feel to be speaking up on an issue that's really important to you like this? Like,
well, I shared this with like Director Brazil on his podcast too. And, you know, like, I don't want it to get misconstrued or misinterpreted. I am very grateful to be doing this for my community. But there's a huge cost that I have accounted for. What I feel like would be helpful is support where people are starting to join in. You know, that I'm not alone in this fight. I've been alone for so long in being the only person to speak out. I've been the one to leave jobs where people were complaining and did want to leave, but then when it came down to it, they didn't have the balls to do it, and I'd be the only person walking away or walking out. You know, it's one of those things where it's heartbreaking for me on one end, and it makes me feel like less valued as a friend, as a colleague, as well as just, you know, alone, completely alone. Like, yes, amazing that being a social media advocacy, you could probably receive the dopamine in the form of shares and reposts and likes and comments and views and things like that. But that's not why I started doing this. I didn't do this for clout. I, like, if anything, this would be the one business decision that would be a terrible business decision, because that puts me at a risk of a lot of things. these celebrities or these labels are attached to these bigger companies, corporations, conspirators, collaborators, investors, producers. There's a whole wide network behind that. So every single time I come out with a dance industry horror story, or I come out with any raising of awareness, or I'm actively fighting and advocating on the job and going to that point person, going to that production manager, going to that project manager, going to the producer, going to the director, addressing the choreographer, I am also I have so much anxiety and stress around it of, will I even have my job the next day, the next hour? Like, will this person just be like, she's difficult, shut it down. I know she means well, but shut it down. You know, and I think me and Paris were actually just talking about it, that it's like, you know, even still, like, I'm on these jobs and I'm advocating with Paris, and like, people are so quick to judge or to think that changes aren't being made, improvements aren't being made, accountability measures aren't being taken. And it saddens me because, like, why aren't you speaking up?
Yeah, like, you want to leave.
Why are you leaving to me? Why are you leaving to me? And why are you so quick to say, well, it's fine, your career can be put on a crucifix, but my career is important. My career is valuable. So I can't really say it. But I'm with you, girl.
Diffusion of responsibility as its finest. So, like, that's how all movements start, though. So again, I'm gonna say I'm very proud of you for speaking up, even if you are the only one. Trust me, you're not by yourself. Believe me when I say
I know, and I'm starting to see that in like little ways. And you know, I will share an industry success story. Last night I was winding down, and I got a text message from my friend that was a voice note. His name's Dean, and he's a dance artist and pretty talented. He was in the Normani video Wild Side.
Nice.
In that scene with when she was sliding on the floor and
yeah, he was in that was a sick. Okay, that's cool.
And he's fine. But yeah, he was in that scene, and he was at an audition yesterday, and the auditioner, the choreographer and casting director, took the time out to say, in light of like recent events that happened, you know, at past auditions, we want to express to you, you know, like we saw like Taja's post, and yeah, like this is like, I was like, mind is blown. But they were like, we saw Taja's post and we think it's really, really important that we extra emphasize, you know, that we are so grateful for you guys to be here. So honored for you guys to be here. This is how we'd like to run the audition. This is how we like to conduct the audition. And I think we can all do better to cheer each other on, to edify each other in support of being a better industry. And I'm paraphrasing. But that's basically what they said. And so, you know, my friend was just like, later on in the voice note, he was just saying, you know, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Thank you. There are changes being made that you don't even know.
That you don't even know. That's really good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Like, yeah, changes are being made and you don't even know, girl. You don't even know.
Yeah. That gave me some serious mozzarella. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. Okay, no, that makes me happy to hear, actually. So I'm a bit of a sap, like, kind of corny.
I am too.
I'm a real sap. Like, I've been crying all the time and shit. Like, yeah. So it really warms my heart. Like, I feel like impact over making an impact is everything. You know what I mean? So it's hearing that even gives me hope, because I'm like, oh, the next time somebody wants to screw me over for a music video or something, I'm gonna look at them dead in the eye. You know what I mean? I'm gonna look at them dead in the eye and tell them, like, no. Okay.
You know, it's crazy because it's interesting to me too, because like even now it's like just people having the knowledge, the good people are going to see the good in this. The bad people are going to see the bad in this. So
Exactly.
like, I'm now at this point where I'm like, well, then it weeds out all the bad jobs. Then it weeds out all the people that literally just don't want to change. And that's better for me, because then I don't have to enter onto a job where my voice isn't being heard. And, you know, some Jada Pinkett respect on my name.
That's it. That's all. Like, it's crazy. I did watch your interview with like your conversation with Director Brazil as well. I watched it, and like when you mentioned like the award show thing, my jaw actually dropped. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, when you said that you've done about, if I'm not mistaken, 7 to 10 award shows in your whole 15-year career, and most of the time, if not all the time, you're getting to the award show and you're signing your contract then and there the same day, which was like, to me, because I think it's crazy how much
mind blown.
like, you know what I mean?
Blown.
Yeah, because I was like, it's crazy how much like the industry just devalues dance artists, like, and we do nothing but enhance the song. Like, a lot of songs that I've listened to, they sound better after me watching the music video and seeing the choreography. Like, seriously, like, you know what I mean? We're literally a visual representation of the song. So I just think it's wild. Like, it's still something.
And you know what? It's our time. Just to reiterate and emphasize, it is our time now. We have so much power. For any dance artist that is watching this, we have so much power to stand up, because everybody's using us. Everybody. And everyone needs us.
Mm-hmm.
They need us. And we need each other to like stand up.
Yep.
So we can all be strong together. And I know there is a culture inside of this for advocacy work where it's, yes, there's advocacy on this end, but honey's got to make the check still and the coin still and be supported in that way. So, you know, I feel like our strategy and plan is to give the equity opportunity to for community by community projects, just like you're buying Black, also buy dance.
Yeah, it's just really refreshing to hear all of that and to know that you're a woman, a Black woman. I'm supporting everybody Black, okay? You're a Black woman who is just using her voice.
Thank you.
And that makes me very, very happy. And you're really paving the way for other young dancers who look like you, who look like me, to know their worth. I know that this has probably been an intense time for you as well. And before we end this conversation, I want to know how you're navigating all of it spiritually, genuinely.
Prayer every day, and it increases more and more. I'm finding, like, at first it was kind of like prayer at night, little blessing, prayer and meditation, centering in the morning. But now it's kind of like I pray before every conversation, or I pray before every post. I'm praying with friends. I'm praying with the people that I have advocacy case, sessions with, been documenting advocacy cases. And I'm praying about my projects, my production, my opportunities, that opportunities can go my way. And I think that, just asking people, reaching out and saying, hey, could you be in agreement with me today? These are the things I'd like to do and to accomplish. Can you be in agreement? Can you pray with me?
Yeah.
And I call my mom sometimes when it gets so bad. I just call my mom and say, Mom, can I pray with you, please?
Yo, it's really
and it's prayer warrior. She holds it down.
Yes.
Holds it down. So
yeah. I could. Yeah, that's kind of the answer I was expecting. Like I say, like pray through before every conversation, like you said, for the business opportunities and for the ones that are yet to come your way. You know what I mean? All of that. Okay, cool. Keep
pray
God in
every
the center.
day.
Keep God in the center.
Fast if you need to hear clearer. Tithe so you can be in alignment. Tithe is so important. But yeah, beyond that, really just like prayer.
Okay. Amen to that. Well, Taja, we're running out of time, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, hearing your story, hearing where you're from. You're really a sweet soul, genuinely. I'm glad that we had this conversation today. It kind of set the tone for the rest of my day,
Great.
Yeah.
Rejuvenation here.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where your movement goes, like continues to go. And I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you 100%. And I'm gonna drag everyone else and whoever else to be a part of it as well, because
Thank you.
you're very welcome. And thank you
It is
again for
a real
coming.
Of
You're
course.
welcome.
Of
Thank
course.
you again for coming on to Real Talks with Ash. I really appreciate you and have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you.
You're so
Bye.
welcome. Bye.